Welcome to UWS Weekly, a show that is dedicated to covering United Women's Soccer, a national pro-am league with your host, Jonathan Ward. Each and every week, we will highlight players, supporters, and staff of the clubs we all pride ourselves to support in North America. The UWS is a league that is committed to advancing women's soccer. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to UWS Weekly, a show that is dedicated to the greatest community in all of soccer, and that is the UWS and the UWS2. Tonight, I'm privileged and excited to have the opportunity to talk with the San Antonio Athenians about their upcoming season. For those of you in San Antonio, it's not far behind, and there's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest. I feel like this is the third or fourth time they've been on the show, but hey, when you want to be on and you want to have a conversation, I'm always about it. So joining me tonight, we have Jade, Technical Director Leland, and Ashley and Enzi as they prepare for training this evening. How are y'all doing?
We're good. How are you?
Hey, it's another day here in California. It's about 81 degrees. I don't have thunder and lightning, which you guys had yesterday for training. So what's, Ashley, Enzi, and Jade, let's talk a little bit about that. How does the weather in Texas kind of, I don't want to say salt, but definitely provide a different movement of soccer in San Antonio?
Honestly, it could be pretty unpredictable at times. Like, you never know. It could be sunny 1 hour, then it's storming the next. So you kind of have to just kind of play it by ear and go with the flow sometimes. But I think most of the time it is hot and sunny, so we're pretty fortunate.
And because I know you guys have training, I want to make sure I get all my questions to you guys and any questions that come along. But I want to ask, look, it's 2022. It's a new year. You last year took second in the conference in and of itself. And you got to the playoffs with some unfinished business. What's kind of the motivating factor to get back to that place that you were last year, but even take it perhaps a step further?
I would definitely have to say that playing Santa Clarita Heat was a game that I don't think we were ready for. At the time, I think we were ready for it, but looking at a lot of us couldn't have been mad at the end of that game because they were just that good. They were that good. They were so talented. I mean, looking at some of the players on that team, but thinking about the team we have this year and that feeling of where we left it last season is I think we're definitely going to be a step ahead of where we were last year. So it's exciting to see where we're going to go and to have that type of game again and be the winners of that type of game. I think a lot of us that are playing again want that rematch. And I feel like we're definitely going to be a lot more ready to face them or face a team to that caliber.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll have a little bit more experience this year for sure. And then on top of the new talent that's coming in, I think it'll be a big help. But getting back there will be the ultimate goal and hopefully getting that rematch.
Speaking of the talent level, what's it looking like right now? I know you guys have not had it's not been a large turnover on the roster. It's definitely some familiar faces who are returning to the club. But what's it look like this summer so far as we get ready for that May kickoff?
I'll jump on that one. One of the things is just going back to what the girls just said, piggybacking off of that, the depth of the roster, particularly with the rule change with substitutions this summer, is really, really important. And so we just wanted to have kind of a depth. We wanted to have, I don't know if everybody watched the Liverpool game. I'm a Liverpool guy, so I always have to slide that in and everything. You bring on Origi and the game changes because you have a different style player, another high caliber player off the bench to be able to adjust to the tactics of your opponents and things like that. So when I look at our 2 deep and even 3 deep roster, even the spots, let's say 19 through 25 that are going to be really hungry to make our 18, it's very, very deep. I mean, you're talking about D1 players, you're talking about ones who've just graduated and ones who are really, a lot of them that really want to continue to play pro. That's why we have this kind of nice mix and blend of both residential players coming from all over and then also the local talent. We've really I'm on two ways of it here, but I really wanted to get all the main San Antonio and South Texas talent, particularly in the D1 area, and make sure that we're the ones that everyone kind of comes to and everything, because we do have these bigger goals.
Absolutely. And I think bigger goals is what draws the players that you guys have gotten. I have to ask Ashley, NZJ, last year, obviously you guys also went back and played college for the most part. How was it beneficial for you to have that summer of UWS experience and then obviously be on the ground running while teammates at the college level are still trying to get up to gear? How important was it to have that summer?
Well, I actually finished my last season of college in fall of 2020. So I didn't go back into the college game after the summer, but I definitely think if I did, I would have benefited extremely from it because I definitely was in the best shape. I was starting to really start peaking with technical ability, and just I think it would have been a total game changer if I did play another semester.
I also agree with Ashley. I was in the same boat as her. My season ended right before our summer league started, but I do agree that if I had gone and played a season, I would have been a lot more prepared, especially fitness-wise, physically.
Yeah, and I'm a newcomer here, so I'm just excited for this is going to be my first season, so I'm excited. I actually was just in college. I was going to play with the Athenians last year, but I decided just to go straight to college for that summer. So yeah.
So NZ, let me ask, being the newcomer and jumping into a pretty experienced side, what are you looking forward to, or what are you wanting to take away from this experience this summer?
The most important thing for me is just meeting all the girls and meshing and improving as much as we can. I think we have a good group where we all love soccer, so I think it's just super important to just try to get 1% better each game, each practice, and just take ourselves to another level. Because I believe that even in this league, we can still improve a lot more than we can alone. So yeah.
It's really important, for a lot of our girls who are D1 players that are going to go back with a very good taste in their mouth, right? To be really sharp, to have their confidence really high, to be really fit, not to be worn down, not to be injured. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of responsibilities of the coaching staff and the training staff to where we've got to return these girls better than when we found them. And when you do, all of a sudden those partnerships explode. And it's a real surprise right now. Every D1 school, particularly down here in South Texas, has a different opinion about summer soccer and what they want their girls to do. Some allow them to select, others are really, really handpick it. And other people, they say they're absolutely against it. They are happy to get out of the spring season healthy, and they'll just restart a preseason when they come back because they don't want to tempt fate. But when we bring them back better than when we found them, and they see all of the success that they have in the UWS season, and wow, the confidence is up, and you even get to see them at a different level. Soccer coaches are very confident, if not cocky individuals, and sometimes, we're not very open to extra ideas and everything. And so to see your player possibly play the 8 instead of the 10, to see your player now, wow, she drops back to center back and playing against the kind of talent that's in the UWS Southwestern Conference, and to succeed, all of a sudden that opens some doors that maybe you didn't know were open.
Absolutely. So listen, there's a lot to digest here, and I know you guys have to get to training, but without giving any bulletin board material to any of the other 5 clubs in the conference, what are you 3 looking forward to? Is there a match that you have that's circled that you're ready for? Is it opening day? Is there a rivalry match that it may be against a former college teammate or a friend that you're looking forward to this summer?
I'd say maybe the opening game, because I know, so they're a new club also, but they have a lot of the same players as the Dallas team. So I feel like that was more of a hard, one of our harder games, tougher competitions. So I look forward to hopefully getting more revenge on them. And since it's the opening match, also I'm excited just to get the first game under our belts.
Yeah, I kind of agree that game. I think being the first game and also being similar players to where we left off last time will be quite a fight and intense first match to have. But I also think any of our games, because I personally, you don't really know what to expect from any team. Last year was last year. It's not this year. There's new players. There's maybe same players that have developed even better. And so I don't think there's a given game. So I'm just really excited for each game because you don't know the outcome that's going to happen with each one. So
yeah, I agree.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say all of them. That was going to be my answer.
Well, hey, Enzi, I want to continue asking you another question. What are you thinking? What's going through? What's training been like? You're coming into an experienced side. What have you noticed the most about, the work ethic or the attitude of the individuals that you're training with now this summer?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway so far is just like how professional kind of everyone is. It's really nice to see how like focused and locked in people are every day and just committed. And I just love to train with people that like love the game, are talented, and I look forward to every practice I go to. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, I do know you guys have to get yourselves out to practice, so I will say my farewells until next time, and I'll leave you guys the opportunity to get out to the training field because I know you missed training yesterday because of the unpredictable weather that is San Antonio, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, ladies. I really appreciate your time. Coach, if you don't mind, we'll keep you on for a little bit longer, and we'll have a conversation.
Okay,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See you
ladies.
soon, girls.
All right. Well, hey, Leland, we need to know more, right? There's always this foreshadowing of the season. That is, what's been the takeaway? What's it been like at training over the last few weeks? I know you guys started early during the springtime to get feet and legs moving because you do have veterans. What's it been like?
It's been incredible. We've added a lot to the training staff. We have a new head coach this season, Coach Ronaldo, who he's fantastic. I mean, he has an attention to detail and a technical and tactical mind that's really, really strong. It's someone that I'm very excited that's been added to our coaching staff because, again, I think we've discussed this before. I've kind of got, I'm a big priority guy, right? Priority is the most important thing to you. Well, from August to April, my priority is the youth programs and providing for South Texas and these youth the opportunities and the pathway, and just to give them a glimpse of what they can be training for and what they can achieve, and to really give them something different than what all of the little club teams and things give each season. But from May, or let's say April right now, through the summer, we want to be the most professional organization. And my priority, again, my coaching staff's priority is winning games, winning titles, getting to the national championship game. For me, it's providing professional opportunities. We have 5 girls from last year's team who've been offered professional contracts. Some have taken them. Some have decided to go back to school and continue their collegiate career. Others have decided that, I'm going to do one more season with UWS because the competition is so much higher than even some of these second and third division leagues. And so for me, my whole priority is the professionality of all of this, right? And to give these girls, as they end their season, as many of them want to take the next step, we want to take the next step with them. And preparing that platform and preparing those relationships is really important. We have a sports performance coach who came from Mexico. He was at Tigres' senior team. And I mean, I thought I was pretty on it when it comes to those things. I taught it professionally, at the college for 15 years. And I mean, anaerobic, aerobic, and, all these different kinds of things. I love that kind of stuff. The periodizations, the microcycles, I'm a geek for that. And yet I come over and I'm trying to figure out, are we anaerobic today? Are we doing intervals today? And I'm looking at it. And I really believe that even in these D1 programs who are really, really quality people, they have really quality programs. I really believe that the way that we, San Antonio Athenians, run our practices and our preseason and our conditioning and our strength and conditioning, and even our trainers and everyone that comes in is going to be the top class of not just the UWS, but the NCAA Division I.
Well, Coach, I got to ask, you're talking about this nutritionist and how they came from Tigres. How is it beneficial to the club as a whole to have somebody with that knowledge base that can support and foster the growth and the nutrition of your athletes?
Sure. In soccer, there's a lot of promises made in the soccer community. And a lot of times it's tough to be able to go back in there and say, okay, are these promises being kept? And it's big for me because as I taught, we get a lot of people who have reached out. Really, I'll tell you off air, but some of the people who have wanted to be residential players and who reached out to us, it just didn't work for one reason or another. Some of them had their national camps where they wanted to play for their international teams. And that's in May and June in some places in the world, and they couldn't play. But these are super talented players. And there's other ones as well that you'd really be, it's a who's who. And it's just a matter of the depth chart and the roster construction and all these things. But I do, when I'm recruiting and talking to these girls that reach out to us, or we reach out to certain partnerships like the one we have with Vancouver Whitecaps, we have to back it up. These girls are going to leave at the end of the season, and they're going to go back and tell everyone, how was their experience? Was it professional? Were they treated with respect? Were they given every single resource they needed to succeed? And last year was our very first year, and there was a lot of great things, but we were able to look at it and be very specific about, we do need nutrition. We do need this fitness, the strength and conditioning. They've put a lot of money into the facility and the equipment that we have. And not only to buy those, we can't just say, okay, girls, you guys go lift. You guys go do this. Like, we have a really, really specific regimented program that the girls follow. And so now when they leave, and the season ends sometime in July, hopefully not till July 24th or so, they're going to go back, and what they go back and tell other people is either going to multiply the amount of people that want to come back and play for us, or we're going to start going, has our internet been disconnected? Is our email, what's going on? We're not getting any more in our inbox. And so that's really, really important to me.
Well, let's talk about that too, because I think having that growth mindset and having the ability to grow within internally, we talked about that and touched base when we were at the coaches convention in January. How's that program working out? And are you able to draw players from your youth program that are now currently training or playing with the UWS side?
It's tricky with the way ECNL and GA, if you're familiar with those national leagues here, we have a lot of the girls play there. And so their season goes pretty far. So right now, we would love to even have them training now. They come to the facilities on Mondays and Fridays apart from their team training. But we really want them to be able to even be training Tuesday through Thursday. But they have, the priority we've set to them is go out there and perform on your teams. Go out there. We want to be somebody that's supplementing the training that they get with their teams and with the clubs. And then when it's all said and done, when they can come back here. Now, we have 6 girls in particular, 2005, 2006, or 2007, that were absolute standouts in San Antonio, district MVPs, 47 goal scorers, in just really crazy numbers. And now they're going to be given that opportunity as their seasons end with their club to now come and train against some absolutely incredible athletes. And really, we had a goalie that came out. She's a 2007, Love Madison. She comes out and she was, as a freshman, she's just winning all of these awards. I can't even get on Twitter. My Twitter, lines and everything are all clogged up with all of her accolades and everybody putting her on every single congratulations for this and this. Well, she came out and man, these girls were just hitting bangers all over the place. Now, it's one thing to stop a high school shot, whether it's high school or it's club. Those are straight. And they're coming kind of at you. They might have a little bit of power. But when this girl can open up her hips and just start one 3 meters outside the outside post and bend it around and then just tuck it right inside the post, you go, oh my goodness. And so she came off. She's a great goalkeeper. She came off and had let a few in. And I walked straight over to her. I said, you may not face anything like that, even in an NCAA practice. You don't know how lucky and blessed you are. Don't walk off the field. I remembered my daughter's first time last year with them. She walked off the field oh my gosh, there's levels to this. And I just don't want them to leave the fields going getting disappointed. I want you to say, wow, you are one of the few and the blessed that get these opportunities to train against these, because I can manipulate everything except for the quality of the player you play against. And to be able to give them very fast, very athletic, very strong. And these girls, their character is so strong. And, I can't speak more highly of our girls, and they take great care of the younger ones. They treat them like little sisters, and the little sisters look up to them like big sisters. And honestly, that's what it's all about for me. Last week, there was a session going on and we had a few of the young ones in it. I took off my purple Crocs, sat down on the turf, wiggled my toes, and just sat back and watched it. And I was just it was almost like one of those, almost in baseball and everything, Field of Dreams moments, right? And you just look at it and just go, man, we're blessed. We're blessed to have these girls and these athletes here. These younger athletes are blessed to be able to do it as well. And when there's all this noise, and you go on any sideline on the weekend and the games are intense, and there's people that can sometimes holler at officials, or they just get kind of fiery and everything. And that's part of it. Yep. But to be able to go back in training and to look at it and go, this is almost like the purest form. And then to be able to see this kind of growth and pathway, and then to see those little younger girls smiling and going, that is exactly where I want to be. Oh my goodness. how about if you and I as athletes had been given an opportunity like that, where would we be maybe? So I love that those girls get that chance.
Yeah, the biggest part, and I don't know for you, but for me definitely would be in the sports psychology piece. I blew my knee out in college, and we didn't have that. It was basically go to rehab and come back and figure it out yourself, as opposed to having somebody in your ear helping you get what's in between the ears out. I think that's a huge component. I know you guys offer that as well. Yeah. But hey, listen, let's talk UWS. You're in the conference this year. First full season behind the realm as a technical director for you. You've lost a few teams, but you've added teams. You have 6 in the conference. What's the big thing? Is it the neighbor of the runners? Is it just battling each week to make sure you're coming out with either all 3 points or coming out without injuries? What's the main goal week in, week out for Athenian soccer?
It's great. We looked at the schedule, and it's an interesting schedule in Cork. We get Dallas on the first game of the season away, and then they come back to us the last game of our season at our place. And depending on, and again, Austin has some really strong teams. We don't overlook anyone. Runners is going to be a rivalry, and we're excited about that. We're excited to get to play against them, like the facility that they're at. And so it's a really, really big field with really thin turf. So it's really fast. It's a fast track. So there's these things I really like about
playing
each
indoor.
one. Do I? Yeah, it's like
playing indoor.
It absolutely is like playing indoor. It's like putt golf kind of speed, and I'm like, oh, those are my dream games, and so I'm really excited about that. But really, because I love. Somebody asked me again. I'm gonna go with Liverpool one more time. I promise will be my last one. Somebody asked me, "Do you want Champions League or do you want the EPL?" And I said the EPL, 38 games. You have all these games, right? 19 home, 19 away, and you have to be consistent and depth and discipline and everything. Anyone can catch fire for a week. Anyone can catch fire for a couple of weeks. Anybody can stay healthy for a few weeks, but the depth is made manifest through an entire season. And although this is an abbreviated season, 10 games over those 6 weeks, keeping everybody healthy, managing the minutes, being smart about the substitutions. To me, to try to run this gauntlet, if anyone can go undefeated in the season, I would be very, very impressed, because there's just so many potholes. There's so many stumbling blocks along the way, and a lot of Friday, Sunday games where, man, if you really get stretched to the limit on Friday, your resiliency on Sunday is really important. And so one of the things that we're doing, we love the streaming and we love everything about how professional UWS is, but we're putting in a lot of safeguards here to where we're able to study our opponents. We're able to, provide the girls with a PDF of our next opponent, and they need to understand these things. It's fine if the coaches do, but the coaches aren't playing. We've got to have you girls understand what's going on and who we have to take away and just the tactics that go into it. So really week to week and day to day, it's going to be really important for all the coaching staffs of all the teams to really stay on it. And again, you just never know about injuries. And, so every once in a while, a D1 coach will send me a message, go, hey, I think I do want those girls back a little sooner. And then I have to go, oh boy, here we go again. And so that's an issue as well.
So as the director and kind of working with the head coach, do you guys look at do you look at who you're playing and you look at their turf and you figure out, or do you decide on your 18 based off of what you think in terms of characteristics or qualities they can bring to that match? So you talk about the light turf. Do you pick a couple of players who have a little bit more pace, or are you picking players who can play more defensive minded? What is the idea behind those kinds of things?
It's definitely part of it. Really, we really believe in iron sharpens iron, and these girls go against each other. And when we set up even the scrimmages and things, everyone's battling. Again, you have to think about it, right? I'm battling to be on the first 25, right? Now I'm battling to be on the 18. Now I want to be selected as one of the 11. And so that camaraderie, that competition, that's what drives what we do. And, by having so much talent on the field, you really can't slip up. Again, I'm about to get in the car with my daughter in a little while to drive her to the session. And I'm going to be telling her, no, get your earbuds out. Hey, you got to be focused. You cannot step on that. You have to be ready. And top of it, she's younger, right? So you have got to be more focused than everybody else. And so she gets a dad pep talk, not a technical director pep talk. But as the coaching staff and we all sit down, pacier wingers on that field, it's a very likely option that we want. Now, again, it depends on their training and it depends on their fitness level. Really, we're being super cautious with these girls, the D1 girls, but even my D1s that have just graduated that really have pro prospects. And again, those pro teams have already been reaching out to me, right? And so, depending on the situation, I'll reach out and say, hey, we've got some really big games coming up for these girls, and we're going to go ahead and, we're going to finish this season up, but she's going to be ready when the season's over. And so that's a really big, something to keep in mind. Managing minutes and the health of the girls, very, very important.
I apologize for this. My son came crying in. It's like, oh man, what's going on here?
No worries.
Yeah, no, I had the same conversation with my son. I'm doing the U9 thing. So I had the conversation with my son about, hey, it's time to focus and can't watch TV before we get out to training. You got to have your mindset ready. So it's those little entities. So it's good to not have the coach hat, but have the dad hat on every once in a while.
It's very fun. And really, honestly, we tell Ella, just like we would tell everybody else, you're going to be under even more scrutiny, right? And, and so when you're the daughter of the technical director or the coaches and all those kinds of things, it's important, you got to go out there and stand on your own 2 feet. And so that's a really good life lesson that athletics can train all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hey, Coach, I know you got to get out to training. I know you got to get your daughter out there. I appreciate the time. Did I miss anything? Is there anything that we need to add to make sure people know more about the Athenian way, the Athenian life?
Well, I'll say this, it's free admission. We're super excited to be able to do that. Making these things affordable has been my mission. And, we did not charge for our clinic. We did not charge for our ID camp, and we did not charge for tryouts this year. And we're trying to make it so available. And really, the soccer community, it's a great community, but sometimes it's a soccer community that wants to stay too tight, and it's not as inviting to someone who maybe doesn't know the game at all, maybe doesn't know the ins and outs and everything. And we want you to reach out. We've done a lot when it comes to the pregame and our halftime entertainment and the things that we're going to do. We're going to have lots of U9s, U8s, U7s, and we're going to have all of these things kind of interacting. And so it's really going to be a spectacle at Soccer Central, but honestly, it's so that you can taste and feel it, right? I mean, it's something to be in a locker room with a room full. And I look at our roster and I'll be honest, I see 6 to 8 professionals. I see 6 to 8 professionals in the next 2 years who are going to be signing professional contracts that we're going to be watching on streams and on television very, very soon. And to get to feel that energy pregame, to get to be in that locker room and everything. If I do a halftime talk, it's spicy language too. So you get all kinds of everything about me coming in there. If I'm bringing the analytic stuff, I'm coming hard. And it just prepares you. And even our girls now, these older girls, we want them to go, okay, I've been in this high pressure situation before, but the community of San Antonio, again, we just don't want it to be so tight that we're not inviting to everybody else. And so we want to not only invite all of our soccer community and soccer family and supporters out, but we want them to invite their neighbors. I talk to my neighbors about it all the time. God forbid they ever wear a soccer shirt or have a soccer ball out. I'm definitely going straight over, but why would you not? It's a beautiful night. We'll play. I mean, it's Miles and Miles of Texas. I'm going to play that song right when the game ends. Like, we're going to have it. It's going to be festive. It's going to be nice. And so we want you to come out. But how often can you come out for free and be turf side at some girls that you're going to see go play internationally next year or going to go play on television and all that kind of stuff? It just doesn't happen very often. And so we want to provide that for our community. So we appreciate the time. We appreciate the platform. And anything you need at all, youth, anything at all, you just holler at me.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. I really appreciate the time that you give and everything you guys are doing for your community. It's awesome to see on multiple ends. So I look forward to having more conversations as we go. But listen, I know you got to go, and I know I don't want to waste any time because I'm sure you have a speech ready for everybody. So, hey, look, unfinished business, hashtag. That's the way it is for the Athenians this year, and hopefully they're able to rise to the top. Coach, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. See you next time.
I'm a part of UWS because of the opportunity it provides women.
Because it provided me the competition and exposure I needed to get to where I am today.
Because financial transparency is important to me.
Because at its core and within its leadership, it is truly dedicated to the promotion of the women's game.
Because of the competitive pathway it provides female players and coaches. because it expands the pathway of our club and offers more opportunities for players to develop.
Because I too support women in sports.
Because of the people. I love competing at a high level with some awesome teammates and getting to compete against people around the country.
Because it provides female athletes with a much needed platform to remain in the game in a professional setting.
Because it's the best summer league in the whole country. There's no question about it.
Because of the commitment to diversity for the players, coaches, and administrators of the UWS.
Because I like the opportunity to compete at such a high level and the advancement of the women's game.
I am a part of UWS because I believe in its vision and its leadership.